Hi Lucy, nice to meet you.
Hi.
So I understand that you were referred here by your GP because you've been feeling quite down recently.
Yeah, I thought I've been feeling quite bad for quite a while, so I thought maybe it's time to see someone about it because I don't want to feel like this anymore.
Okay, so from your notes I saw that you saw the GP about 3 months ago.
Yeah.
So how long have you been feeling down altogether?
Quite a few months before that as well, actually, but it's gotten pretty bad these past few months, so that's kind of why I came.
Okay, so has it got worse since you saw your GP?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me, how are things at the moment?
Well, it kind of started just feeling a bit low and wound up about things, but I don't know, just recently I just can't really be bothered to do anything at all. I kind of find it hard to get motivated for things, and I really want to be better, but it's just kind of reaching the end now where I want to do something about it.
Okay, so you said that you're feeling really down, really sad.
Yeah.
And you feel like you haven't got any motivation. But are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine, sorry.
Okay, you haven't got any motivation, but it sounds like you're putting quite a lot of pressure on yourself to try and feel a bit better.
Yeah, it's kind of hard as well because there's not really anyone to talk about, so I just kind of stay on my own I don't like to think about it, but I don't know.
Okay, so you say you're feeling quite isolated, there's not many people around?
Yeah, there's no one I can talk to about it. No one would listen or understand anyway.
Okay, so I'm just going to try and find out a little bit more about you. So I understand that you're an English student at uni.
Yeah.
And you live away from home with some friends, is that right?
Yeah, I live here.
Okay, so you don't live far from the uni, but you say you feel like you live with your friends, but you don't feel like you can talk to them.
Yeah, I mean, they're lovely. I get on really well with them, but I don't know. Recently, whenever they want to go out or stuff, I don't want to bring them down. They don't understand what I'm going through. They don't make fun of how I feel, but they don't really understand what it's like. I don't want to go out with them and bring them down or stuff.
Okay, so do you try and hide the way you're feeling from them?
I guess. I mean, it's easier to hide it than to try and explain it all the time when no one really wants to know.
Okay, so it sounds like you've been feeling down, you've been feeling unmotivated, you feel like you want to be better, but actually it sounds like you feel like you can't reach out for help, you can't speak to anybody.
No, I don't really talk to my parents a lot either, so that's kind of hard.
Okay, I'm just going to go back in time a little bit. I suppose I'm just wondering, when did all of this start? You said it's been going on for quite a few months.
Yeah, I guess it kind of started when I was revising for my exams.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I put a lot of stress on myself. I think I've always wanted to do well for me and I guess for my parents, so the stress of exams, and it was also kind of hard because my parents were going through a bit of a troubled time then. So.
Okay, so this would be like last April?
Yeah, I think so.
Around that time, so about 6 months-ish.
Yeah.
And it sounds like a lot was happening, so you had a lot of uni pressure on, and you said that your parents were having marital problems?
Yeah.
Okay, and it sounds like that was a real shock to you.
Yeah, I guess it was hard as well because I wasn't doing well at uni, and I guess I just felt a bit guilty. I know it sounds silly, but I felt like maybe if I could do better, then they would get better, but it just wasn't really happening.
Okay, so it sounds like you were trying to work hard and be more successful because you thought that would make them happier and try and fix things.
Yeah, I wanted to make them feel better, but it just kind of backfired a little, I guess.
How did it backfire?
Well, it just ended up with them getting worse, and I've just been feeling worse since then.
Okay, so after the summer, after the exam period, and how did that exam period go for you in the end?
Not very well.
Okay, that's an awful lot of pressure to put on yourself that you are supposed to
It's just annoying because I know I should have done better and I just didn't, and I guess I beat myself up a lot about it.
Mm-hmm. So you say, I know I should have done better.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose hearing it from my perspective, I'm thinking it sounds like you had an awful lot going on at the time. It'd be understandable, absolutely, that you wouldn't do as well as normal. I suppose I'm just wondering if you have very high standards for yourself.
Probably, maybe more than other people. My parents have always kind of taught me, not in a loving way, I guess, but that you should do your best, but also get the best. And I agree with that. I think that's the right thing to think. But when I don't do that, I don't know, it annoys me a lot, and I worry that it annoys them.
So it sounds like you feel you should always do your best. That's the word you used, yeah. And that there isn't any kind of exceptions for that.
No.
Okay. So I can see then that was a really difficult time for you, and that was when your mood started to get lower, and things are still quite bad now. I mean, what's the situation with your parents at the moment?
I think it doesn't sound good. I don't really talk to them a lot, but I don't think they're going through very good things. I don't like to talk to them about it because it just makes me feel worse.
Okay.
But I don't think it's getting any better.
Were you home over the summer?
For a little bit, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And how was that?
Not very fun. No. It was quite tense all the time. It stressed me out more than relaxed me over the summer, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, so it sounds like quite a lot has been happening. You've been feeling very low. You've had uni pressure on. You've had problems with your parents' marriage, and it sounds like you feel like you can't really reach out to anyone. Like you can't understand. You can't really reach out to your parents right now. You can't really confide in your friends. So I suppose I'm just wondering if you can tell me a bit more about how you've been feeling. I mean, say this past week.
Really not good, to be honest. If I don't have to, then I don't really leave the house or get out of bed. I can't find the motivation for the things I used to join. I used to love doing sports or going out, and now I just prefer to lie in bed and not really do anything.
Okay.
I missed a few lectures this week that I should have gone to, but...
Right. So I suppose I'm just wondering then, let's see if we can think about one thing, say a lecture. What kind of thoughts do you have about going to that lecture before it happens?
I don't really see the point anymore. If I can't do as well as I should be doing, then what's the point in putting myself in those positions? I can't be bothered anymore to try. It just stresses me out more than it needs to.
Okay, so it sounds like the kind of thoughts you've got in your head are, it's pointless, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Do you have any other thoughts in your head when you're just at that point before you go to the lecture?
I feel like, I don't know, I don't really even deserve to be here if I can't do well enough. I see all these other students are doing well and doing better and want to be there. I don't know why I'm here even at uni, to be honest.
So it sounds like you feel like you're not as good as other people here.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just, sorry, is it okay if I take notes as we go through? It's just I'm trying to, I guess, understand what you're telling me, and it helps me just to write it down, and I'll share this with you later.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so it sounds like those are some quite negative thoughts to have. You're kind of saying, you know, it feels like it's pointless, it's more effort than it's worth, and I don't deserve to be here. I mean, when you have those thoughts, how do you feel?
Very unworthy, probably would be the best way to put it. Kind of, I don't know, just lower than normal. Because then it makes me think about all the things that I should have been doing better.
Okay, so what you described there, then you said, I'm unworthy, I should be doing lots of things better. Those are kind of what I would call thoughts, actually. I suppose I'm trying to understand what it feels like in your gut. What kind of emotions do you feel? Happier? Do you feel sad? What kind of emotions are you feeling when you have those thoughts?
Sad,
Yeah.
not happiness. No, sad. A bit of kind of anger and frustration as well.
Okay. I notice when you're kind of telling me this, and I know this is quite a heavy topic, but you're kind of laughing. And I suppose I wonder a little bit, you're a bit, you know, how do you feel about having these emotions, talking about these emotions?
I guess embarrassed. I'm embarrassed. I've never really had to talk about it, so it's quite uncomfortable to be in this situation.
Okay. Well, you're doing a great job, because I know that this can be difficult. Okay, so it sounds like some of the thoughts you're describing are, it's pointless, it's more than it's worth, I don't deserve to be here, I'm unworthy. And those kind of thoughts, it sounds like they just flit through your mind. And then you're kind of describing different emotions that those lead to. You're kind of describing sad, anger, frustration, embarrassed. What about in your body? What happens? How do you feel kind of physically?
I used to be, I think from those emotions, very wound up, very kind of stressed all the time. But recently it's just been a lot more draining than anything. Just quite lethargic, and I just can't be bothered anymore. And my body reflects that. But then when I try and sleep, I just can't seem to have a satisfied night's sleep. It's really, really frustrating. So
it sounds like this is affecting you. It's draining you of your energy, like your body can't be bothered. I think that's a really good way of describing it. And you're noticing sleep problems as well. And then what do you do? So we're back to the point before the lecture. So you start having these thoughts, these emotions, and, you know, your body, I guess it sounds like those thoughts are quite draining, so they're draining your energy. What then happens? What do you do next?
I kind of focus on the negative thoughts when I probably should not think about them, but I focus on them, and then I don't really want to do anything. I'm going to stay in bed or...
So you think even more about those kind of worries that you have. So you do a bit of dwelling and you stay in bed. And it sounds like you haven't tried speaking to your friends about it.
No.
Or speaking to family. Okay, and then after you've done that, so after you've not gone to the lecture, you've stayed in bed, you kind of spent time, as you said, focusing on those thoughts, those negative thoughts. How do you feel after that? Do you feel better or do you feel worse?
I guess I feel slightly worse, but then a bit numb in a way, kind of. Once you've felt that, because I do feel tired all the time, I just try and push it out, and then you don't really think about anything, and it's almost nicer that way than to keep focusing on how much you're getting wrong and how much you can't do stuff. Sometimes it's better just to not think about it at all. So it sounds like in some ways it's a bit of a relief to do that. Yeah. But in other ways maybe you think it might make things worse. Probably in the long run, yeah.
Hello, this is Group15. I'm Tankai matching numbers 270591. Lucy experienced low mood and symptoms of depression for quite a few months and getting worse recently. Depression is introduced in the last chapter of the introduction to psychology called psychological disorder. By DSM-5, depression can be defined as depressed most of the days, nearly every day, and loss of interest and pleasure in user activities. Lucy can't bother to do anything, feel hard to gain motivation. Physically, she was insomnia, and the bad thoughts drained her energy. She has a sort of perfectionist belief. In lecture class, she feels she is unworthy to be here if she does not do very well. In the cognitive theory of depression, it includes a lack of interest or pleasure in most of user activities such as hobby or sports. Patients often have imbalance in certain neurotransmitters. This will cause patients sleep disturbance, including insomnia or sleeping too much. In our group of opinions, Lucy dared to face the negative feeling and seek treatment in front of a stranger, even the psychologist Judy Johnson. This shows a positive sign. In the whole video, we do not find she has any subsidized thoughts. We can investigate. Lucy was smiling in the interview and she looked like a normal person, keep trying to help people that she's so fine. This case study clearly shows people don't visual depression in stereotypical way. In conclusion, this video success to demonstrate how an interview treatment of psychology undergo and how the psychologist diagnoses a depression patient. Thank you.
Good day to Madam. My name is Jane and I will continue with questions 2. So what is the factors that cause Lucy to have the symptom of depressions? The first factors is suppressed emotions. So based on the video, we found that even Lucy has stayed with her friend, she still hidden her feeling such as sad, anger and frustration very well and do not confine to her friends to avoid burden them because of her struggles. However, suppressed negative emotions may bring physical stress to our body and it may result to memory problems, depressions, anxiety, or aggressions. The second factor is overstress. So Lucy is facing parents' marital problems during her examinations. So she had put a lot of stress over herself to hope for a successful result. However, stress on exam had result to overworking and bring a backfire to Lucy as she had the difficulty to concentrate on her revisions and lastly, getting a worsened results. So Lucy had faced with stress such as the social isolations and regressions in academic results which had rising her level of depressions. The third factor is having negative thoughts. So she always thinks that it is pointless to do something as it will need more efforts than worth. So Lucy always thinks about her shortcoming, demerits or failure and also think that she is unworthy. So she isolated herself from her friends and parents and she hides all the negative emotions from them. However, negative thoughts make Lucy to have a lower self-esteem and it makes her to feel that she is worthless to the world.
My name is Choriku. My mention number is 2700501. I will proceed for the question 3. The biological physiology, also known as the physiological physiology, can be defined as the study of the biology of behavior. It focuses on the nervous system, hormones, and genetics to investigate brain processes in order to understand the behavior. For the Lucy case, the primary biological foundations of physiology linked to the behavior phenomena is the hormone. Lucy has depression, low mood, and no motivation in her study in order to achieve better results due to her thoughts that she can achieve good results when she studies well. Other than that, she always keeps feeling without telling her friends about her bad mood, her parents' marital problems, and also study stress. The hormones found in all multicellular creatures preserve the internal communication for cells dispersed throughout the body. There are many types of hormones which grow according to the functions control. It benefits in the impact of growth and metabolism in the body, assists in the balancing water and mineral salts, and get the body ready for action. However, hormone will influence human behavior as it is created by the body to regulate and govern the actions of specific cells or organs, secretes the special glands, and involves in multiple bodily functions. She has deviant behavior which connect all the stress hormones, neurotransmission, and genes, as she has depression and has malfunctioned neurotransmitter system. The majority of people experience this emotion when they anticipate a stressful scenario or when they foresee stress. When under stress, the hypothalamus pituitary area axis is triggered. The implication of a perpetually active hypothalamus pituitary area include a reduced immune system, decreased memory, and an elevated risk of depression. The stress hormone have an impact on the gene related to depression. Depression, according to the transactional model, affects social and occupational functioning and has a significant environmental impact. Long-term stress may have impact on the stress hormone, which can bind to the cell and alter them, which always affects how one behaves.
My name is Rochin and I will continue the question 4. Firstly, the treatment can be self-help plan. In this plan, an individual tackles their illness by putting wellness-promoting measures into practice. Lucy, with a low motivation, can have a self-help plan to supervise her activities. In this plan, the patients are often given a form and require them to fill in the form every day based on their daily routine. The first part is the medication part. Patients can list out their medications that they are supposed to take today, and they can mark after one taken. The second part is about today's goals and the reflections from today. This part is important to doctors in understanding patients' current situations and having further treatment based on their idea. The third part is about the exercise and activities. This part will record the type of exercise, the durations, and the exercise time done by the patients, following with the nutrition and diet column. The required details include the taken time, types of food, and the category of food. Apart from that, Lucy, which has symptoms of depression, is suggested to take the medications under the instructions of the doctor. Before stepping in the medication journey, it is important to Lucy in understanding 3 facts about medications. The first is the medications are not cures. The symptom might return if you stop using your medications because they just treat the symptom. The second is the medications have both positive and negative impacts. Throughout the trying process in order to get the true medication, it is difficult but believe in the doctor. The doctor has professional knowledge in balancing possible benefits against negative side effects. The third is Lucy shall know that the medications often give the biggest help throughout the treatment, although it takes time. An important step in the process is being upfront and honest with your doctors. First and foremost, Lucy shall get some information about the concern and possible side effects of the medications they're supposed to take. It is advised to have a detailed note on the medications to avoid unclear instructions when not feeling well. Meanwhile, Lucy can ask the closest family members to accompany her to the clinic. This will indirectly be an emotional support to Lucy and help Lucy in tracking important instructions from doctors. Apart from that, Lucy shall always say to herself about motivations to keep taking medications. This is because patients always think that medication does not help them as the effects are not obvious in the short term. However, medication sometimes is the only way to reduce the symptom and the right direction towards recovery. Lucy can point out her curiosity about the medications after a duration in order to help doctors to figure out the most suitable plan for her.
Greetings to Doctor, my name is Shorty and my mention number is 270305. I will discuss on question 5, 2 theories of psychology that relate to our case study. First is humanistic psychological theory, which focus on the individual humanity as well as various elements that influence their thought, behaviors, and self-perception. Referring back to the case of Lucy, she is practicing the heresy gradually in her daily routine. The most crucial point is Lucy shall start to believe herself is a unique question. By having the confidence, it will directly lead Lucy towards a positive thinking and self-love direction. In the video, Lucy mentioned that she didn't tell her friends or even her family's member about the actual feeling because she thinks that they surely do not understand her feeling. This obviously shows that Lucy is lack of safety, belongingness, and love. Therefore, she shall practice the heresy theories and with the assistance of psychologists assist. Next, people should examine their subconscious mind with the aid of psychodynamic theory of psychology. Psychoanalysis Simon Freud research told that everyone has their own ID, ego, and superego in their subconscious. ID refers to the desire to own certain things immediately. Ego refers to the self-perception that reflects one's own thinking, and superego is based on the moral compass that contribute to several factors. Psychodynamic is suitable to emphasize in Lucy cases because Lucy mentioned that she has no motivation in doing anything, afraid to tell others people about her actual feelings and fears. This means that Lucy is having an idea to implement activities, but due to the depression symptoms, she eliminates all her ideas and do nothing. In addition, due to the ego factors, she is afraid to tell her friends and family members about the difficulties. Therefore, when the time froze, Lucy is having serious depression. That's all from our book. Thank you.